Picture this. It's 1989. The Berlin Wall is still standing. The USSR is running on communist pride, questionable genes, and boiled potatoes. And Pepsi, yes, the soda, somehow becomes one of the largest naval powers on Earth. If you think that sounds like a fever dream after drinking expired cola, buckle up. This is the story of how Pepsi almost became the most dangerous fast food side drink in history. Our story starts earlier, in 1959, when U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon visits Moscow for the American National Exhibition. He gets into a friendly argument with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev about capitalism versus communism. In the middle of this political tennis match, Donald Kendall, a Pepsi executive, sees an opportunity. He hands Khrushchev a cup of Pepsi, and history is made. Khrushchev takes a sip, loves it, and boom! Pepsi becomes the first American consumer product sold in the USSR. Take that, Coke. Of course, the Soviets didn't have dollars to pay for it. They paid in stolichnaya vodka. That's right, the Pepsi economy ran on vodka. Truly a win-win. Fast forward to the late 80s. The Soviets want more Pepsi. Pepsi wants more than just vodka. The ruble still can't be traded internationally, so cash is off the table. And here comes the most chef's kiss barter deal in history. The USSR offers warships. I mean, why not? That's the most Soviet solution ever. You want soda? Here, have a submarine. In 1989, Pepsi signs a deal to get 17 submarines, a cruiser, a frigate, a destroyer, and yes, for a short, glorious period, Pepsi owned more firepower than many small countries. Somewhere in the Pentagon, a general probably choked on his coffee when he read that memo. Sir, the second largest navy in the world now belongs to a beverage company. Now, before you picture Pepsi launching torpedoes at Coke's headquarters, they didn't keep the ships. Pepsi sold them for scrap to a Swedish company. But still, for a moment, Pepsi was technically a global naval power. Their CEO, Donald Kendall, even joked to the U.S. National Security Advisor, "We're disarming the Soviet Union faster than you are." Somewhere, Reagan was probably slow clapping. This wasn't just a funny story. It was a glimpse into how bizarre Cold War trade could be. With currency useless in global markets, barter deals got creative. You'd have things like oil for bananas, wheat for locomotives, and, apparently, soda for submarines. Let's imagine for a second. Pepsi decides to keep the fleet. Suddenly, the 7 seas are patrolled by the Pepsi Navy. Ships with Pepsi logos instead of hull numbers. Sailors in uniforms that say, "Ask me about our refreshing taste." They'd pull into ports not to conquer, but to distribute free soda samples. The only war would be a taste test. Coke wouldn't stand a chance. But the dream didn't last. The Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, and Pepsi's barter empire fizzled out. They kept their place in the Russian market for a while, but eventually lost ground to Coca-Cola. Still, for that one shining moment in history, Pepsi was a military superpower. And they did it without firing a single shot. Unless you count the past when you open the can. So next time you take a sip of Pepsi, remember, you're drinking from a brand that once had enough military hardware to start World War III, and they traded it all for sugar water. History is full of bizarre stories, but this one is deliciously absurd. If you thought Pepsi owning submarines was wild, wait until you hear about the time a chicken almost caused a war. But that's for another video. So, hit subscribe and turn on the bell, or I'll have to send the Pepsi Navy to your house. And they don't bring torpedoes. They bring unlimited soda. Trust me. You don't want to explain 200 liters of cola to your dentist.